Hello everybody, welcome to Discussing Tabletop for October 15th, 2018. Yes, we are a couple days late, but hey, we're getting the show in here just to make sure that you can still get a little bit of tabletop news for the week. Alright, cool. So we have once again joining me, of course, is Joe, my sidekick in crime.
I'm back in POG form.
I hope in POG form. I only hope. Our only hope of POG form. So we have an interesting docket of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the unearthed arcana, which is about magic items in D&D, particularly ones that relate to Eberron. We have the Good Critters, kind of board/card game. Legend of the Five Rings RPG has been released. The Great City of Rome is coming to us from Z-Man Games, and we're going to finish up by talking about the fact that Z-Man Games has also pretty much resurrected Lords of Vegas from Mayfair Games. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Go Z-Man. Go Z-Man.
Well, you know, we both played Lords of Vegas and enjoy it.
Yes.
So
I own it.
yes. Not the expansion.
I need to get up, though.
Yes. And Underworld when it comes out. But we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Let's dive into this week's Unearthed Arcana, which is technically magic items of Eberron. So, I mean, this is stuff that you could probably use for any of your D&D games, particularly. But
yeah, the only section that's a little more
Eberron?
maybe not for every game would be the Warforged stuff.
Yeah.
The components for Warforged.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's some cool stuff. I think one of the most notable items with the Orbs of Shielding.
Well, it's an arcane focus. Yeah.
Right, but that the Orb of Shielding can reduce a certain type of damage depending on what the orb is made out of.
Yeah.
By 1d4, which one of them is for force and one of them is for psychic. It's things you don't see as much for resistances and stuff.
That's true. So it's sort of like, granted, it's not a lot, but it'd be like, haha, I can use this to block effectively one magic missile.
Yeah. It's not a huge amount, but it's like, oh, that's still something.
Yeah. And
I just thought that's, one to point out.
Yeah, they're two common magic items. So there's something that's like, can you get it? Yes. Because it's like healing potions. They're in the player's handbook for a reason. Can you get them? Yes.
Yeah, and then on the opposite side, there's imbued wood, which just sounds wrong. Which gives you a +1 bonus to a 1 damage roll of that spell.
Yeah, but it's like you can have like 1 for fire, and then your fireballs do +1 damage. It's not a lot, but it can make a difference here.
Well, in an early level, if you have something like that, that can matter.
Late level, even it can matter. Like
late level, it can matter, but not as. But
yeah,
1 damage, not as much. Early level, that's where it's more powerful, I'd say. Also, I think everyone should wear bands of loyalty.
Yeah, the one that when you hit 0, you instantly die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's supposed to be favored by spies and stuff. It's just like,
yeah,
not many people are going to want to wear that.
Well, they also have their version of an ever-burning torch, the ever-bright lantern, which is, it's got continual flame cast in it. They're like, hey, this has flame in it.
But yes, better. But it's also a bigger area.
True.
That's nicer. That can be really nice, where a torch, you have a more limited area.
No, they got a lot of little interesting common magic items.
Feather token, I'm surprised they even have there, because it's a feather token.
It's not the same as the Quaff's feather token, I think.
Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
While you fall, the token is in your possession. You descend 60 feet per round.
Take no fall. It's feather fall.
But also, the token becomes a non-magical after you... Oh, land, wild.
Yeah, it's 1 use.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All the other feather tokens are 1 use also, but none of them actually do anything to do with falling.
No, okay,
or like feathers.
I would have called it a featherfall token then, or something, you know?
Well, they kept it simple. It might have originally been that, but you have to think about, like, since this is a common name that people would speak, it could have been originally called the featherfall token, and people, like, abbreviated to feather token.
Yeah.
And that might have just been an evolution in the storyline that they can easily explain with that.
Gleamweave is interesting, but it's just, you could add patterns or flames or some kind of illusionary thing to a garment. Shiftweave is kind of cool because it can be basically 5 different outfits in one item.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I need a cold weather outfit. Vroom. Now I'm at the beach. Vroom.
Beach gear, activate.
Or if you're someone who impersonates people and stuff.
Yeah, then you can quickly change the outfits. Or
helps with disguise.
Or you could just have one shift weave for like 5 different outfits, and that way you can have less outfits you're traveling with, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the common magic items, they're just little things, but they're all very interesting, and they sound like something that, yes, a group that has arcane magic as part of its, everyday lives would have.
Ooh, spell shards, nice for wizards.
Yeah, but even the cleansing stone, it's a goddamn just cleaning item.
Yeah, but it's useful.
That's the thing, is they all are technically useful in their own ways. Even the Band of Loyalty is in its way very useful. It's supposed to be the spy who doesn't want to get captured.
The funny thing is, the cleansing stone's slightly more useful than prestidigitation. Because doesn't prestidigitation wear off?
Yeah, well, to a degree, yes.
Where a cleansing stone just gets rid of it.
Certain things about prestidigitation, who I'm saying incorrectly on purpose, does fade away. Prestidigitationally.
But no, the spell shard's cool for wizards because it's be used instead of a spell book, and it's a smaller item.
Yeah.
So it could be like, oh, it fits in the palm of your hand. So instead of having to carry around this giant book,
I don't know. Maybe you want to carry a giant book. Maybe that's
when wizards don't normally have a lot of strength.
They'll be fine.
It makes sense, but it also could be useful for like a bard or something who writes tales.
A bard's tale. Sounds like a good name for a game or something.
You know what I'm saying, no.
I do. I actually do know what you're saying.
Don't make me get you a new docent.
You lost me. Sorry.
It's under the Warforged components. It's basically like their brain.
Oh. Okay. See.
It has sentience, personality, languages.
Those sentience, personality, and languages. Anyway, yeah. So it's just the basics of kind of how they put it together. And so it's a lot of really interesting things. Again, like the Warforged components, they do have
well, it's to kind of modify your Warforged, basically.
Yes, the personality thing, they're saying it's very rare, so I think that's an unusual thing. But it's you've got the arm blade and weapon and wand sheath, because one is for more weapon specialists, and the others for more magic casters, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for wand sheath, it's just you totally want an arm cannon. Magic missile. Pew 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 pew.
Hey, your wand can't be disarmed when it's in the sheath. And for a bonus action, you can pop it out and use it hands free.
And while it's extended, you can use it as you're holding it. It's an arm cannon.
Yes, but it's hand free, so you could have a sword in your hand.
Yes, so you have arm cannon, except it's
fireball, fireball, fireball.
I just want to see like Warforged like having like a wand sheath in each fist, and so like each one punches and fires a fireball like every other turn. So it's like waha, waha, waha.
Oh god, a Warforged monk with 2 arm sheaths.
Every other turn, but you still like every other turn you're like shooting something out, but it still be hilarious, just like a ha 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 ha.
You didn't expect my punches to do fireballs.
Mm-hmm. You didn't see this coming. No one did.
Oh god. If you could wand of polymorph, you punch someone into a rabbit.
Is there such a wand of polymorph?
I'm just saying if there was.
No, unfortunately there's not like a lot of crazy wands, especially in 5th edition.
I know, but I'm just saying if there was.
Well, that would be something I would claim for Pathfinder. But even though that's still too high a level spell.
Yeah.
So, but no, something like that where you could do. Well, you can get even crazier. Like if you could somehow break the wand cap, you could do things like wand of disintegration or wand of flesh to stone.
I know, but I just think it'd be funny that you punch someone so hard they turn into a rabbit.
Then it has to be baleful polymorph for it to be really a rabbit.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and it would be kind of funny. I just like, it's the.
It'd be for a weird game.
Even a weird game, it's still a stretch, unfortunately. I mean, that's the only problem. It's something of the similar would probably be too unbalancing for players to have it. It'd be something used against players. So enjoy the idea that you might give some kind of DM out there to use against you.
You're welcome.
So it's an interesting little document, and I don't think it adds. I think the main thing I would say it adds is common magic items.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there is a distinct low amount of these things, but
it's not like a huge listing.
Well, I meant like in general, there aren't many common magic items.
Yeah,
at all. So this is technically like double the amount of normal common magic items that existed, at least, up until now.
Yeah, true.
So it has its good points for existing, but again, it'll be up to you how much of the stuff you'd actually want to include in, because, well, this is mainly made for an Eberron world. And you would have to have a good excuse as to why some of this stuff, especially being common, would be in your world you're having.
Yeah.
Because these things are, like, easy to make crap anyway,
I mean, the lantern's not that... like, the lantern especially, that's not that big of a push.
Mm-hmm.
Or a one-shot featherfall.
Yeah. No, those are all like things that are like, that kind of makes sense. The thing is, none of them are terrible items, but it's just that why would it exist kind of thing. Like you're not gonna find like either the Gleam Weave, the Shift Weave, or the Cleansing Stone probably in most cities, because those are the kind of things. If we're not in Eberron, that if someone would make one, they'd make it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Cleansing Stone, I could see, like, castles having a few.
Maybe, like, castle having one to be, like, an easy cleanup or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see something like that. A Shift Weave, you might find maybe, a Thieves Guild that has a set or something.
Yeah. It's, unfortunately, even if it's, like, an easy-to-make item, so therefore at common price, it's still,
it's just... You're not going to see it all over the place.
Yeah, it's not going to.
Everyone's not wearing Shift Weave and glamour wear.
Yeah, you're not going to have
glamour weave.
They're not going to have that commonality that connects up with like magic as everyday life.
Yeah, the only thing I could say is a spell shard. I could see being used in more games, definitely. Just because, isn't a spell book kind of hefty?
It's not so hefty a wizard couldn't carry it.
I'm not saying they couldn't, but I'm just saying, trading that out for something that could fit in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I mean,
I could see more like wizards having them.
I feel like we're also then, like, if we're saying that, we're pertaining ourselves a lot more to, like, a good old classic D&D / Pathfinder wizard who has strength of no. D&D,
True.
you're probably not going to have a strength of no. You might have a strength of, like, 10.
8.
No, even 8 would be rare. You don't get the same negatives as you would in D&D. Can get it.
Most of our party on the Thursday game has a strength of 8.
That was just you also have no perception and a strength of 8. I did not realize the horrible deficiencies in your team.
Well, my perception will get better because eventually I'll get expertise in it.
Which would give you training in it, would you?
I already have training in it.
Oh, but you don't have wisdom score, and that's the thing.
I have a wisdom of +1.
Yeah, so you're the only one that really has a chance of being perceptive.
Well, no, I think there's at least one other person that has a +3 total. That's what I have at the moment.
That's still not
great.
I
know.
That's okay perception, I would call that.
But yeah, but the thing is, like, I didn't go wisdom base with a rogue. I focused on my charisma and my dex.
Yeah, no, which is fine. It's a fine build. It's just I think no one.
You think someone would? Yeah, you think the monk would have wisdom out the wazoo?
Which she does. It's just she didn't take perception.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, no one that has wisdom took perception, and no one took strength either, really. So I think it's like that. That gets.
We have 2 strength characters.
Yes.
Oh no, 3.
No, 2.
Red.
Doesn't
the monk have some? Oh no, the monk doesn't. That's right.
Red and Nokrin.
Yeah, that's. You think the monk would have some more strength?
Really, it should technically be only Nokrin, because like Red is a character that was added in afterwards. So of the original team as it was built, only Nokrin had strength.
Of course, the original team also had an assassin and a rogue.
Yeah, it had 2 rogues.
Well, 2 rogues. One specifying an assassin, one kind of rangery.
Yeah, a scout and an assassin. But still, it's 2 rogues. It's my 2 rogues. Which, again, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that, like...
we did not have a well-balanced party.
Not at all. You still don't really have a great balanced party, but you make it do.
Well, red helped.
Not really. Red helped, but didn't need to help.
Uh-huh.
A rogue, as you can see when you roll your dice, you do as much damage as Red would at this point in time.
Yeah.
So, it's not necessarily... It's that Red can maybe tank more damage, is the only thing. And that's it. That's the only big advantage. Less skills, more tanking. So, is it better? I would say not technically.
I also don't have to compete with another rogue, so that makes me happy.
But getting back to the common magic items, it just pertains to the fact that you're not going to have the same setup in a lot of other D&D worlds other than like a couple places in Eberron. Granted, you could have it in your custom world, but a lot of the pre-made ones don't have, like, this is a place where arcane magic is a way of life. You know. So you might find these in, like wizard colleges or something, you know, kind of things like that, where it might be like your thesis might be, I'm going to make some kind of little magic item. Hey, I made a cleansing stone, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. It's something our wizard friend would have.
Maybe he could...
in the castle.
Oh god, no, he would have had some of these crap and like his collection of shit. No, yeah, he'd have some of these things.
He'd have like a dozen cleansing stones probably.
I'm sure he's got a lot of weird little crap, but it's unspecified. His pile of crap is unspecified.
Yes, I'm just saying he could definitely have some of these things there.
Oh, true. So I think that's about it. What we want to hit for the Unearthed Arcana, because
we went over everything.
yeah, we went over everything, and like Warforged stuff, I wasn't going to dive too deep into because it's interesting,
but it's very specific.
It's specifically Warforged, unless you're playing those.
Yeah.
So, I'd say recommend check it out yourself. Unearthed Arcanas are always helpful to see. Always provide a lot of interesting things, and this one is not any different. So
the only thing I'd say is a DM could use it for maybe like a construct or something for some of the Warforged stuff.
Yeah, but it's very NPC then related anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the only other thing with that. That's all.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next topic, though. I want to talk about good critters. So, I can pop that one in. I have the image ready for that. So, this is a game for 4 to 8 players. They recommend probably like 6 is best. 5 to 7 is like the kind of range that's really best. Yeah. You can play with 4 or 8 players. It's about a heist, and it's after the heist you're splitting the loot. But you can trust the boss to divide everything evenly. Right?
You can during the game you can change who the boss is.
Yeah. It's fighting over loot, basically.
Yeah. It's kind of like Red Dragon in a way.
Yeah. If the crew doesn't like the split, they can tell the boss to take a hike. Get rid of it.
Choose someone else.
Yes. As you can see, it's like anthropomorphic animal based, I guess.
Yes.
It's very I'd say Disney's Robin Hood, or
I was thinking more recent
Zootopia.
Zootopia, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very, very
Zootopia Underworld.
I guess that's a great way of describing the entire, appearance of things in it. Yes. So, yeah. So it's a kind of interesting game where it's like, it's a matter of negotiation. There's a whole bunch of loot. There's action cards, payoff cards you have to worry about. There's like a fuzz card. It's more of a card game than anything.
Yeah. There is a betting portion that is a secondary thing that you can use or cannot use. It's up to you. One of the things that if you're sitting next to whoever the boss is, you can, if you have the skim card, you can get free loot.
Yeah. And it's round based. And each of your characters will have 5 action cards, a threat marker, a payoff token, and then any kind of
so you always have a guard, a rob, a skim, and a vote. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're next to the boss, you can skim.
Each round is divided into 4 sets: show the loot, distribute the loot, choose actions, resolve actions. So that's kind of interesting. Like, the step 1 and 2 are easy. The boss flips over the number of loot from the loot deck, shows all the cash, gems, jewelry, and paintings, spreads the weapon, and distributes the cards however they want.
And then that's where you can also do voting yes or no. Like, you want him to stay boss? No, I don't like what he's doing. Or, yes, I'm benefiting.
And then step 3, everybody simultaneously chooses what actions they want to perform. There's the deals, threats, and bribes, but in the end you only play 1 card face down. So basically you could be like, I could play this and basically make a deal with someone, like if you bribe me, I'll, do this action here. Kind of things like that,
Yeah, see, yeah.
So that it's very interesting, the level of things you can do in this game. Like and I guess I don't know how many rounds off the top of it was looking through here, but I'm guessing you play through a number of rounds, and at the end of it you see who has the most loot kind of thing to win. And if there's a tie, hey, guess what, you kind of tied it out. And
I'll be Knuckles or Bruno.
I don't. Again, I have one place I'm at, so I don't know if I'm seeing all the pictures of all the characters.
I'm on Board Game Geek, so they have everything.
Oh, yeah, actually, they have a bunch of stuff on Board Game Geek. I'm on Arcane Wonders site because I think that's who's distributing it.
Okay, yeah, it is. The characters are Anna, who's a rabbit, Bruno, who's like a bulldog, Knuckles, who's a rhino, Lima, who's some kind of feline thing, Roxy, who's a fox, Slim Jim, who looks like he could be a male fox, Tommy, who's a cat, and Tooths, who's an alligator.
Ah. Yes, now I found them on Board Game Geek then.
Yeah.
Interesting, I don't know if any of them would have any kind of special ability too.
I don't think there are.
It's just for like show for your kind of characters. That's interesting though. No, it's an interesting little kind of crime game with a different kind of
United States of Zoomechia.
They've made up their own stuff probably.
Yes.
Yep. They basically wanted it to be similar, but they didn't want it to be the same thing. It's Zoomerica.
Okay.
Yeah.
I zoomed in, but I couldn't quite make it out.
Yeah, effectively, yes. You can zoom in on the back of the box and see that for the materials that they're providing.
Stop! It's the fuzz!
Oh, the fuzz. They're going to capture you. So, yeah. We see criminal games. I've seen criminal games before, but I don't know if they've quite taken the... It's sort of like as you said, Red Dragon Inn. It's a different kind of... It's Red Dragon Inn, except you're criminals instead of heroes, And you're splitting the loot.
And you're not getting drunk.
I guess that's the other thing, too, is you're not getting drunk. You're still fighting over the
loot. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it's slightly Red Dragon Inn-ish.
It has some similar tones to it, but it's got its own way of doing things. It's quite interesting. So, yeah. Good Critters, it is actually coming out soon, so keep an eye out for it. Definitely thought it was an interesting one to bring up. And of course, if I waited, I probably would have forgotten to bring it up.
Who's a good critter?
None of them. All right. Let's move on, though, because we do want to talk about a couple more topics, and this includes Legend of the Five Rings. We've talked about this a few times on the show, and now we talked about when the beginner's box was released. So now it's the official release of the game. Yeah. So I guess that's the easiest way to say it. The core rulebook is out now. So not all the material they're putting together, like they have a expansion book called the Unearthed Empire, the Game Master's kit. These things aren't ready. They've had the beginner's box.
Well, the Game Master kit is out of stock.
Oh, that's out of stock. I'm sorry. Yes.
Emerald Empire is on pre-order right now.
Yeah. But we can see that this is the core rulebook is out now. And, I mean... As much as a beginner's box is always wonderful because it gives you an idea of a game and lets you test it out and all that kind of stuff, a core rulebook is the core of it. This is, you can play Legend of the Five Rings to the full extent of your ability. You technically need no other books other than this one. I can run Dungeons and Dragons out of this book. It wouldn't be great, but I could do it just because things like a bestiary are very helpful. And there's details in a Dungeon Master's Guide. But then again, I could hint at things like the Pathfinder core rulebook, the original one, which was half Player's Handbook, half DMG.
Right.
That one was much more, I could play out of one book, except for monsters. This one, where it's a system where I don't think there is, more fantastical monster-based opponents, you're more just other dudes, you might be able to run off of this one on its own much easier. As we've talked about before, it's Legends of the Five Rings. It's 336 pages. It's gonna help you customize your characters more. It will help for crafting adventures, so it does have some of that Game Master material that you might want to check out. I don't know if there's much else to say. We talked about
$50.
Yeah, it's $50. Well,
which is your basic price anymore. Yeah.
If for a big printed, usually hardcover role-playing book like this, that's 300 plus pages, $50 is reasonable. It's the right
Yeah.
price point. I mean, if you're, again, I think I've said it before, if you're a Legend of the Five Rings fan, this is probably something you really want to get. Especially if you're still a role-playing fan. Because I don't know if the card game that they've been putting out under Fantasy Flight really captures the old Legend of the Five Rings material as much. Maybe a little bit, but I recall when Legend of the Five Rings was a CCG. I never played it, but I knew about it. So I know the legacy that it has, that this is trying to, in a way, live up to. And as someone that's not as familiar with it, I can't say it does. But Fantasy Flight does still do a good job. So I can't bust them.
Yeah.
They're weird and milk things into the oblivion. they're limited limited collectible games.
Stop milking things.
Way too many offshoots for those, as I said. Sometimes they probably work in whatever game they put together with it, but it's still very, very Munchkin-esque. That's the thing now. Munchkin-esque, we can call it. You can blame Steve Jackson Games. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I think that's the basics of what I want to say about Legend of the Five Rings, the core book, that it's out and that it's interesting enough that I want to say check it out. If you enjoy I'm thinking of it like the historical Chinese/Asian action or drama movies. This will probably fill your thing. Even a martial arts movie probably has a good deal of the essence of those baked into here, and I'm talking about more traditional martial arts movie, not the crappy martial arts movies that we put out here in the US. I can't call them all crappy, but just we either have martial arts comedies or effectively weird things which don't quite work as well.
Hey, we had Kill Bill.
Yes. And it has martial arts as a huge thing to it, but I don't know if I would call it a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
It's something else. I don't know I can't remember the genre name off the top of my head, but it's a different kind of movie from that, and it's
I'm saying it's close.
A little bit.
Close.
No. It does have some of those connotations of those kind of tales.
Okay, it's the closest we really get in America.
That I will kind of agree in. Except for isn't there one or two
Enter the Dragon and stuff?
Yeah, things like that. I don't think Jackie Chan ever does any. Well, the thing Jackie Chan doesn't do anything that in Asia that isn't kind of vaguely comedy too. So,
yeah. And
a few Jet Li movies or something,
Yeah, and Bruce Lee back in the day.
Back in the day, yes. But we don't have a real good supply of them as would be, their native countries. But getting back to what I was trying to say, that's one of those type of things you can get a little bit of your genre here into. It's ancient Asian culture, martial arts, samurai without being samurai because it's more Chinese influenced, and those kind of things. The various warring kind of periods of ancient Asian culture, which I'm just thinking about this now, which this is going to be a little side topic, but it comes up to. We don't see that for European. Where's our we have D&D, which captures fantasy medieval. What about our fantasy Renaissance, which is a much more war-y period? I don't know. Anyway, there's an idea for someone out there. Make a Renaissance-based warring RPG system. Thank you. You're welcome for the idea. All right, we still have a few more topics to handle. Let's just move on.
What are we doing? Great City of Rome?
The Great City of Rome. So this is a card game by Z-Man Games that I think it's another one that's upcoming soon, I believe. If I'm recalling my information correctly when I was reading up on it. I'm just setting up the image quickly here for people to see.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see.
Oop. Well, it needs a little adjustment.
I know it's this year.
Yes, I think it's coming out soon. But it's like I have to see what Z-Man is saying.
It's €25.
Yes, it's pre-order right now, so they're on pre-order. So yeah, I think it's coming out soon. So you're kind of building and designing your version of Rome. I think is kind of what it is, because like you've got like tiles and stuff. And...
Well, you're trying to build. Rome. Yeah. I mean, you can build it in any way you want, but you're designing your own city.
Yeah, everybody's building your own Rome, and who is the best Rome, I guess.
Whoever has the most points at the end.
Yeah,
it's 14 rounds.
Again, it's whoever has the best Rome. It's like, they're planning early 2019 release for it finally. So it's 2 to 4 players. We don't know a huge amount of stuff at it, but so basically it's probably gonna be January or February when it comes out finally. So if you are a big fan of Roman lore, I mean, this is definitely taking a bunch of it for city building for the actual city of Rome.
There's a thing that comes out in the middle that has bricks and cogs. Mm-hmm. So every turn whoever's closest to the Emperor goes first, and it goes down the line from there. Mm-hmm. At placing your thing on either bricks or cogs. Thing is, the people who place early get to have the best choice of what they want, but they get less of it.
Yeah.
So the person who plays last gets the most of whatever thing they're landing on. Yeah, they don't really have the choice of where they're going.
Yeah, you're trying to get close to the Emperor because that determines the drafting order for the next round for picking
right,
cards
but
and buildings.
If you're first, you get less material from the space you go to.
True.
So there's a trade-off.
Yeah,
it's like you could either definitely get what you want but less of it. Mm-hmm. Or you can get more of something, but maybe not have a choice.
Yeah, so it's an interesting trade-off that you're looking towards the building resources versus drafting the cards. Because it's, first player, the person who's closest to the Emperor, gets to look at all this stuff and be like, I'm taking this one, and it's a draft. You pick right. something, you pass it along. And then everyone else chooses from it. So there's a lot of interesting dynamic in the choice. And I think that's... It's residential buildings, temples, aqueducts, having coins, influence, any kind of other special tokens. So there's a lot to build in this game, which makes it very complex, And I'm sure there's various interactions between different types of buildings and things like that, which can help affect your score.
I'm neutral on the overall look of the game.
That is something I agree on. It's a very...
Like, if I just saw it sitting on a shelf... Yeah. I probably would walk right past it.
It's very simplistic. I mean, the box itself, I don't think is...
The box looks cool, but the pieces, I'm saying, when you look at like what the pieces and the tiles look like,
they're very simple.
They're not bad, but they're simple.
Yeah, and that definitely can be a drawback. I completely agree that you can have something that's so simple that you're like, I don't know. I'm not that interested in it.
Then it comes down for me to price point.
Yeah, and they are.
Does it look like it's worth what I'm paying?
They're looking at $40 for it, so that's a good question. Because again, like this looks like it might be like a smaller box. This could be a bigger box.
Yeah,
for all I know. This could be like a medium-sized box, and that would tell me more that it would be closer to the $40 point. If it's something that
it is an hour-long game.
Yeah. And,
it's, like I said, 14 rounds, but it's also only 2 to 4 players.
That's not a terrible amount. I mean, that's the traditional amount most board games have, and I'm sure in the future they could always have an expansion that would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's also more expensive because not only is it a bunch of cards, it's a whole bunch of tokens. You got influence tokens, point tokens, brick tokens, action strip, the wooden pawns, the scoring pad, the rule book, the rule sheet, 39 coins, and then 86 cards. So quite a little bit. And they don't have the rules out yet, so that's an important note too. So you're not going to be able to see the rules.
No, they give a decent explanation on Board Game Geek for the description. That's how I was able to tell you like some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I mean, they also have like a big article where they talk about a lot of this stuff, which helps.
You have one build action, one production action. You have to pay the cost of bricks, or if you don't have enough bricks, it's 2 gold to replace a brick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's what it is. It's balancing priorities. It's figuring out a good balance between priorities that you're trying to get and getting a little lucky, too.
And it fits in a 4x4 square. You're building in a 4x4 square.
So,
because it looks like there might be some escalation in buildings.
Well, that's the thing is, 4x4 square tells me that it's 16 buildings.
Yeah, you're in the game with 16 buildings.
So, there must be ways of building where you start with some things, maybe, like you start with 2 kind of things.
Yeah.
That might be it, and then you build 14, you can build up to 14 more. It might not be that you build some things because you don't get the resources in a turn and you kind of get screwed over. That can probably happen, I'm going to guess.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
You can build a building per turn. You probably start with 2 because it's a 4x4 grid and can end up with that. That's the only... Well, I mean, I can understand a 4x4 grid anyway because it's 14 rounds, but logically speaking, having 2 things that you start with might be, a good way to explain.
Yeah, it could be you start with 2 basic buildings.
Mm-hmm. It's like, look, my Rome is better than your Rome. They're the same. Too bad it's better. I have the better Rome. Rome
on the range.
Rome on the range. Okay, I'm not going to make any more Great City of Rome jokes because they're going to be awful.
Yes. Mine was bad.
Oh, no, it was. I think, like, it looks interesting enough to try it out, but I agree with you, the art style is very, very simplistic. Not awful, just simplistic.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, it doesn't have a flash that might not grab random people. For us, I would probably take a look at it once it's on a shelf to see about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I more want to maybe test out sometime. But anyway.
Yeah, I'd probably want to test it before buying it.
Mm-hmm. Either at the store or maybe if we get lucky and take Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
But the Great City of Rome, it's going to be coming in a couple of months. So keep your eye out if you're interested in this, of a new kind of, I guess it was a management game, board game.
Yeah, I would call it a management game.
Management board game. Yeah, management board game.
And that takes us into the next one, too.
That exactly takes us into the next and the final topic for today, Lords of Vegas. So, Lords of Vegas is a game that's been out for a bit now.
Yeah.
I
got it, I think, 2 years ago?
I thought it was more than that.
Maybe.
Jeez.
Maybe it's been 3.
Yeah, it's been...
I've had it for a little while.
You've had it for a little bit of time. I'm sure longer than you think because it's been a lot of years.
Okay. We just don't play it very often, I think is what it is.
Play it very often. And
but it is a fun one. I want to get the expansion up at some point still.
Yeah.
Which allows you to... Because normally you can just build out, and up allows you to literally build up.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, it was part of Mayfair Games to begin with. They were at least the publisher, so to say. It came out in like 2013, it looks like here.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayfair Games. Mayfair Games, their site, I don't think exists.
They shut down.
Yeah, they shut down.
This year.
Okay, so they shut down this year. I knew something had happened at Mayfair, but I couldn't remember. And, so that means you couldn't get Lords of Vegas anymore. You couldn't get the Up expansion really as easy, unless there's still existing... Because there's plenty of existing copies that are probably on shelves places, but it's sort of like...
existing stock, but they weren't restocking the games.
So now Z-Man Games has acquired Lords of Vegas. They're selling the existing Mayfair Games stock of the base game and Up expansions. So that means they are taking what the material they had left over and still selling it, which is good. I'm assuming that if everything goes well, they might print more, sets of it, kind of things. But they're also finishing up the Underworld expansion, which Mayfair had been working on and announced before it closed. So, which is bringing characters to the game.
Well, that's really sad. I didn't realize that.
What?
I think they were Cantan. Yeah, Mayfair Games was Cantan. Refreshed the Settlers of Cantan with the 5th edition release in 2015.
Oh, man. Wow. They had the publishing rights to Settlers of Catan between 1996 and 2016. They're the publishing rights for the English version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they sold everything to Asmodee. So Asmodee has all that stuff now. I was wondering what happened. Because Asmodee changed all of a sudden earlier this year, and I was kind of curious about it because it became all of a sudden they changed the way that their website was.
They did Seven Wonders, Dead of Winter, Dixit, Splendor, Star Wars: The X-Wing miniatures game, Pandemic, Ticket to Ride,
bang.
Yeah. Internationally, as many distributors, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. Wow. And internationally, they actually Asmodee distributes Magic the Gathering. Blah, blah. I'm just reading an article about them closing. Apparently, the company had changed names a few times, but they were in business for about 40 years almost. 36 to be exact.
So Asmodee had taken over the Cantan rights in 2016, basically from Mayfair, I guess to help them out back at that time. And it's just they got the remaining assets in February of this year. Okay, and that's another reason that Asmodee changed is then the company that was behind Asmodee announced in July of this year they're selling this company to a French private equity firm, Pi Partners, for about 1.2 billion euros.
Wow.
So that's an interesting thing, and that's why they went very corporate on their website, because I used to be able to go to Asmodee's website and actually look up what new stuff is coming to them, and it's become very difficult because they've I would call it they've distributed. Similar to Wizards of the Coast, if you go, there's no direct Wizards of the Coast site. If you go to Wizards of the Coast, you're either going to go to D&D, you're going to go to Magic, or you're going to go to their publishing branch, which does things like Betrayal at House on the Hill. I think that's Avalon Games. So they're all little smaller branch. So Asmodee has now become like that because they basically bought out Mayfair and then got sold to something that restructured them to something bigger, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, they announced they were closing on February 9th of this year. Mayfair.
So I'm assuming that Asmodee didn't take all the assets, kind of thing, as to say it. They probably bought up most of it, but then you look to it, and then Lords of Vegas, Z-Man Games took it up. Which I'm wondering if Z-Man Games, how they're related to other companies now. My God, the network of board games now begins to be curious to me.
But yeah, that's sad that they closed up after 36 years of business.
Oh, Z-Man Games is a subsidiary of Asmodee.
So that makes sense.
Yes, because they were their own thing. A Quebec-based publisher-distributor bought Z-Man Games in 2011, creating a new company, and then then in 2016, that group was acquired by Asmodee. See, that's another reason that Asmodee is confusing us all crap, because no longer are they their own thing, really. They just are like
a conglomerate of...
They're trying to become the Hasbro, I guess, maybe, of
tabletop.
Of tabletop. Interestingly enough.
They also did Star Trek 5-year mission.
Okay. Yeah.
Mayfair.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Mayfair did that...
Well, yeah, I mean, 36 years in the industry.
Yeah, so it's got a big legacy. Granted, there's probably a good, 24 years of crap we're probably not going to even think about, which might be good games, but it's stuff that, we would have not looked into. Yeah. Ever.
Or it might be things we played and didn't even realize. Agricola is one of theirs.
Yeah, but Agricola, I played in the last 12 years.
Right. I'm just saying, though, it's there's probably also a lot of games that we played and we didn't even,
realize how old they might be. Yeah, because we would have thought that, there's something a little newer now. Because Settlers is a lot older than you think it is, but Settlers brought in the revolution. So I think that's the thing, is now board games are very big. But if we think 15 years ago, board games, not so big. Munchkin, I think, had been out then, but it was so new, and it was this is weird. This is so different. Wow, it's like D&D or something, because we're playing D&D and stuff back in the day. And it's not the same revolution. That's what I'm saying. It's you say 36 years in the industry, which is an impressive amount. It's just that, unfortunately, a lot of those years, I'm sure, were sort of...
weren't as big, weren't as well known.
Yeah, because people were buying board games, but it wasn't
if the same. If you think about that, that's 1982.
Yeah.
Because I'm 37.
There was no culture of board games then. That's the thing.
Right.
You didn't have this idea of... these big board games out there. That some of them existed.
Right, but, back then when you thought board games, you thought, Parcheesi and Monopoly and
Sorry and Clue. Yeah, you're very classic ones. And every time a new board game came out, it was something like Parker Brothers comes out with, or I don't know who does, Hungry Hippos. That was wow, it's more kid-based and more simple and more... That was the board games that were out. Very few complex board games existed, and then even when they did, they didn't have the same kind of notoriety.
Right.
And so it was a different market for so many of those years that were out. And I'm kind of impressed that they were around that long, because that tells me they were there during those early market phases. What the hell were they doing? I'm curious now. There's a history to a lot of these board game companies that's very interesting now, I think.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it. But getting back to Lords of Vegas, this is a game that's actually pretty interesting and kind of fun. You build casinos on the Strip. You build up your, Vegas empire. Each person does that. And it's an interesting, because you can get stakes in a casino. You might not own the entire casino, because different people will own different blocks. And if you can combine them all together into the same casino, then you can restructure so that one person attempts to take control of the majority of it's got a lot of business acumen to the game without being very math business heavy, which I think is very interesting in the nature of how the entire game works.
Okay, I'm going to post this in chat. This is a list of all the games Mayfair ever made.
Okay, cool.
If people are interested.
Yes, if you want to check out that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Lords of Vegas is a fun game. I'm really interested in, like I said, I want to get the up, but I'm really interested in the new Underworld that they're going to release, because you actually get characters.
Yes, with your unique agendas and personas.
Yeah.
Yeah. because the game has always kind of been a little bit like it's old Vegas. It's very organized crime.
Ooh,
Definitely.
and it add loan sharks.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that it's going to be adding into it to enhance the entire gaming elements that you already have, and I think it's very interesting. It's still in development because I guess it was already in development, and they said they're going to give more information to us. It's just that now also you can find more copies of Lord of Vegas and Ups, either from their website or local retailers. Hey, guess what? Your retailer might not have had a copy of it anymore. Maybe now it will, because it's being redistributed. So, yeah. I think definitely the enhancement of this entire thing. As I said, it's a business simulator to a degree.
Yeah. Apparently when they were creating it, it had more of an organized crime theme to it, and they backed off of that.
Which I can understand for, like, the base game. Keeping it simple.
So now they're bringing it back into it with Underworld.
Mm-hmm. They kept it very historically simple because I think originally, when you're talking Vegas, not everyone was a criminal, just a lot of them were. Of those people that did the casinos. And a lot of them ended up in crime if they weren't to begin with, you know? So it's like, there weren't very many clean-nosed people, if any, in old Vegas when the strip was being built.
Oh, know? Definitely no.
It's like that one dude who was clean-nosed, you know, who didn't do anything bad. Yeah, him over there. Yeah, no one remembers him.
And he probably folded up somewhere quick.
Yeah, because the criminal elements did the restructuring and took control, basically, you know? Yeah, the thing about it, when you, like, strategically build or sprawl or, you know, like, restructure, it's very criminal sounding, you know? Like,
oh, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm taking over your casino.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you had control of this casino. Guess what? I have it now. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well,
even especially like sprawling, it's like, yeah, this is totally my property.
I was paying a bunch of extra money and being like, this is mine now. We're building here.
Unless someone grabs it, and then they're like, oh, crap.
Unless someone was like, hey, wait a second. I have this, you know, a property, what's it?
Deed?
Deed. God. The word deed.
I actually just got the deed to that, so thank you.
So this building is technically mine? Oh, wait. It's part of the casino you had? I guess I have some stake in this casino. A percentage of it? Oh. Well, business partner.
Yeah.
No, there's
definitely... I'm interested to really see how Up plays out, too.
Yes, because we've never played with either of the expansions, so...
Well, it's the only expansion right now.
One of them will be coming out. So,
yes.
I will say either for now, but for the first one we haven't played with, let alone the new one which will be coming
out. The one that hasn't come out yet.
Yes. Which adds, yes, as you said, it adds height to the game. And other various things that can be more interesting and new challenges. So. Alright. Why don't we move on to our final segments for the day, as we normally do, and go through them. We have 3 normal segments. We go into Kickstarter Korner, Our Week in Tabletop, and Consult the Table. Do you have anything Kickstarter related that you managed to look up?
Yes, cool. I actually did look something up.
Awesome.
Hold on, copy, and paste. So I found Steam Pirates.
All right. Yep. That seems very you, Joe.
It's 4,397 out of 7,000 gold, but they only have a week left.
Mm-hmm.
And they only have 59 backers.
Hmm.
There's a lot of pieces to this.
Well,
but for the basic pledge, it's only $48. Which is surprising. And you get the game And free shipping, all stretch goes for the tier. And there's an expansion that is for solitaire play.
That's always good that you can play. I was gonna say you can play with yourself, which is accurate. But yeah, it's always good when they have that you can play.
You can play by yourself. How's that?
Yes, that's probably a better way of saying it than I was too.
Now, I mean, for the Legendary Pirate Collector's Edition, for the 95, you get aluminum dice.
Ooh.
You get a Mechanical Steam Pirate dice tower. And a set of premium tokens that are made out of wood and plastic.
Wood and plastic, like at the same time?
Wood and plastic replacement token.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you get both. Maybe like the original ones are plastic, and you also get wood ones.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But it overlooking the rules, it doesn't seem as piratey as it would let on. It seems more like you're traders.
Maybe it's less that you are pirates, that you're dealing with pirates.
Could be. But
yeah.
You're trading materials, building shipping lanes and such. Each player builds their own trading network of piracy by dealing with 4 types of goods: coal, rum, firearms, and automaton. It could be maybe these things are illegal too in this world.
That's true, and that's why you're kind of more piratey.
I just think I want a coal and rum fueled automaton that shoots things.
Yeah. Seems about right.
The goal is to capitalize on the quote-unquote open market by selling your goods while maneuvering your frigate to explore new markets and discover new resourceful allies.
Huh.
You select 1 of 4 pirate ships and place your frigate and trade house of your color in your haven. You got black sails, red dragon, sea dogs.
Yar.
It should be 8 air dogs. And Octavians.
Ooh.
Neat. So, it looks interesting. Their specialty dice for this game.
Yeah, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, especially 6-sided.
Yeah. Cool. That seems like an interesting game. And it does sound like it could be funded. It's in a ballpark.
It has a week, and it needs a little less than 3,000.
A little less than 2,000. No, yeah, a little less than 3,000. Right? It's like 2,600. It's at.
Yeah, $2,603.
Yeah, which it's like
it's possible in a week.
It's like 2/3 of the way funded, so it's possible. Definitely,
and that's only with 59 people.
They're probably funding the big ones at the bottom. Probably got a couple of people doing that one. 27 backers went for the 95 edition. Yeah. And the thing is, they could have also put in more money.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And the 95 is limited. The 73 out of 100 still left.
But you have to also think that, like, that 27, that 95 is near like 2,700 on its own, nearly.
You do get a mechanical for the $70 pledge. You do get the mechanical dice tower and the premium tokens as well.
Spiffy.
The only thing it looks like you really don't get is the 2 things you don't get are the aluminum dice and the signed number of Winds of Materia expansion.
Cool. All right. So, I was taking a look at all the Kickstarters starting from beginning of October because we haven't talked about some in a while, just because we're talking about some today. One I want to give a weird shout out to is, which I will leave a link to it. I'm not going to go into depth as much about this one, just because.
How weird is the shout out?
It's called Hollywood Death Race. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's just a weird one. It has like a character that kind of looks like Bill Murray and one that looks like Arnold on the some of the art they're showing. Yeah. It's I think it's kind of wacky racers with Hollywood. You know. So weird. And it is funded. So that's a racing board game.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Hollywood Death Race.
Yeah. That one I thought was a little interesting enough to kind of give it a shout out. Because usually I like to give something, you know, a little more of a shout out. But the RPG that I felt I wanted to dive into more was... Let me get the proper link to this one. Because it is also funded. Let me check with the Hollywood Death Race. It's still got 10 days to go on that one. This one still has 16 days to go. It's Americana, the RPG. It's a game of teenage rebellion, murder, and basically a fantastical 50s that never was. So there you go. That's kind of like it's fantasy, like, because if you look at it, it's very fantasy. I would say like maybe even like it's like werewolves, vampires, other various things. Not just from like horror movies too. You just have them kind of things. You know, it's a very weird kind of, but also like they're saying like orcs, dragons, elves, dwarfs, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's very like weird combination of like the fantasy you'd have from traditional like that era media kind of thing, and you know, actual fantasy in 1950s, you know, America, and like a fictional version of 1950s America that people are always nostalgic of, which doesn't actually exist probably also. But you take that and then make it also more based upon like murder mystery rather than like fantasy adventure. So I mean, that's like, it's such a weird combination of things, and I like that. I like when they like go in these really weird systems. It's basically a D6 dice pool system. Yeah, they give you some information. It's the hard, if you want to get like a hardcover, the price is $15. If you just want to get a the basic game, $6 for the PDF and any stretch goals that are digital.
Cool.
Yeah. They actually have a couple of versions of it. They have like a discount PDF or normal PDF or the physical copy. So, I mean, they do put out a lot of things. Man. They definitely have... it's an interesting art style, too. I have to say that. So, I mean... let's see here. They got their funding, and they're working towards their first stretch goal. I think they got their first stretch goal. Let me check this here. No, they're right at their first stretch goal. Which, and they're doing a bunch more. Like, if you get to the $10,000, they have basically, like, their version of a Power Rangers they'll give you rules for like 1960, like, which would be more like 1960s, I'm guessing, the original kind of like Japanese Sentai teams kind of thing. And then they've got like secret agencies in 12,500. They'll do like a secret agent kind of storyline.
Secret agent, man.
Exactly. So it's a weird little RPG, and I enjoy weird little RPGs. So I'd say, you know, take a look, check it out, see if it's something you're actually interested in. Americana. All right, let's just run into our next to final segment, our Week in Tabletop. Hey, Joe, what was your Week in Tabletop like? Any interesting stories?
Let's see, what did we play? We played some
Let's restrict
High Noon Saloon.
We played some, yes, we played some High Noon Saloon. That's true.
Which I got beat up a lot in the second game. I was just trying to hide out in a defensive room, not bothering anyone, and everyone just attacked me.
Look, at the time, you still were the healthiest, then I attacked you, and as I say, my rules are attack the healthiest person. I always do that.
Yes, I know, but it was still just like, really?
Yes, I mean, well, you and Colin were tied, so I just chose one of you randomly, kind of thing. I was just like, meh, that one. So I could have very easily have shot Colin at that point in time, but unfortunately it did end up with you, and you had already been attacked a couple of times and managed to basically fend them off.
Yes. Let's see. Well, we had our Thursday game.
Yes, where you're approaching the finale. You're down in the horrible hive of the Fallen and seeking basically the current leader of it in order to basically chop off the head, so to say.
Yeah, I don't wanna. I was glad to come back though. Yeah, after so long.
After a couple weeks. You'll be fine-ish. Fine-ish. Probably.
Yeah.
You probably won't die horribly. Probably. Oh, shoot!
What?
I just accidentally was trying to get rid of something here to,
Did you just stop the stream?
No, I got rid of Discord for a second.
Oh.
Like, Discord was still on, but I accidentally, like, minimized it.
Ah.
Because I was trying to, like, quickly, like, move things around here to make it easier for myself. You know, background stuff. I was trying to make it work, and it went all horribly wrong. All horribly wrong. Anyway. What else did we do?
Last night, we played Bang.
Yes, Bang. And it was really fun because we had 6 people. And as they say, like, actually 7 people is the ideal way of doing it, because then it's like you got the 2 deputies, and it really causes things to be crazy.
Well, we only had 1 deputy. We had 3 outlaws, 1 deputy, 1 sheriff. Yeah. Oh, if you have 7, you have
2 deputies, which makes it very much harder for the deputy. Basically, Unfunny One knew he could kill everyone but the sheriff. If there's another deputy, then he doesn't really want to kill everyone but the sheriff.
Yeah. But I ended up winning.
We both
with a little bit of sheer. Well, the outlaws ended up winning.
Yeah, outlaws ended up winning. You drug mine and Fallen's corpses kicking and screaming to victory.
Yeah, there's 3 outlaws. 2 of them got killed in the same round.
Yep.
And I'm like, crap. I'm the only outlaw left. But I also had the slight advantage of having a crap ton of health for that game.
You couldn't dodge any attacks, but you're like, you could live through anything.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gotten blown up by the dynamite and been like, that kind of hurt. But dynamite saved my butt.
It did, because the sheriff got blown up by dynamite and died. Perfectly.
Because all that was left was a renegade, which that's dangerous enough, because he just wants to kill everyone.
Yep.
The deputy, who would want to kill me and the renegade,
and knows who everyone he wants to kill is, because again, there wasn't 2 deputies, so it's like kill everyone else.
Yeah, and it was kind of obvious.
Towards the end there, definitely. It was a little like questioning early on, but then it got really obvious.
Yeah, it got very obvious because he just kept giving the sheriff health. So it was just like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was fine. Still good times. Let's see, what else did I do? What can I remember if we talk about the last week? I had Legacies of Kain, which they started a new mission. Effectively, they're they went to London, and they have to meet with an elder there, because vampire. And of course they have to convince this elder to get help from them, but it's an elder, so that's dangerous. You know? And they went and they've apparently made deals with both an anarch and the Prince of London. Yeah. So now they're in like bed with both of them, and I can do stuff with them while they're on this mission. And we ended up with them meeting a gargoyle who basically found out they were looking for them, kind of thing. Because gargoyles, a bunch of the free gargoyles are basically mercenarying for this elder. So, yeah. Treat some gargoyles nicely and they'll mercenary for you. God. That's not really the most true thing, but whatever. So that's interesting how things are going to end up tomorrow. That's when it is. So. What if you take their ancient castle, move it to New York City, and put it on top of a skyscraper? That's only if they're cursed to be living stone. These ones aren't cursed to be living stone, so they're okay.
Well, no, remember, they weren't cursed to be living stone. They were cursed that they couldn't change back from being stone for 1,000 years.
It was 1,000 years. It was the spell was like when the castle rose above
the clouds. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they were naturally living stone.
Yeah, time periods. Yes.
No, I'm just saying they did turn to stone during the day.
Yeah.
That was their natural ability.
Yeah.
The curse just kept them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gargoyles. And the weird part that like 90% of the voice actors were from Star Trek.
Yes. Next Generation, specifically.
Yes. It's like, hey, we're going to take the past to the Next Generation and make you guys gargoyles.
No, I don't think any of them were actually gargoyles.
Desdemona was...
Yes. Troy was the gargoyle.
I think Xanatos was Frakes. I know that.
Frakes. And I know Michael Dorn showed up at one point in time, and was there anyone else? There might have been.
Let's see, cast of gargoyles. Jonathan Frakes was Xanatos. Miranda Sirtis was Demona, so that was a gargoyle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I got it. I got one. I don't know how regular they are. Marina Sirtis, Jonathan Frakes, Kate Mulgrew, actually, from Voyager was, Michael Dorn, and Brett Spiner.
Yeah.
I remember Kate Mulgrew's character. Oh my god. She was Fox's mom.
Oh,
Titania. She was Titania. Yeah. I don't know why I remember that. Oh my god. But I was like thinking, Kate Mulgrew, who the hell would she be? Wait, I remember. And Brett Spiner was Puck.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, why do I...
Who's Michael Dorn now? Probably was like a small character, I'm assuming, because I know he wasn't...
Dorn was Coldstone and Taurus.
Oh, Coldstone, the one that was half robot.
Yeah, and that was also like the minds of 3 gargoyles in one.
Yeah.
So reoccurring. These were all they were all reoccurring characters, at least, except for Jonathan Frakes and Marina.
Jonathan Frakes was pretty much every episode.
Yes, because he was both villain and not villain.
Avery Brooks was in it.
Mm-hmm. Avery Brooks
from DS9.
Oh,
he was Nokar. I don't know who Nokar was. LeVar Burton was in it. He was a Nazi or Anansi.
Okay.
So actually, it's like there was even more Star Trek cast members.
Well, I mean, like they didn't show all of them on the list I had, so there's probably guest stars. Yeah.
But when I saw Avery Brooks, I'm like, wait a minute.
Because also, I'm totally guessing like You couldn't have gotten away with, like, at least one, like, what's his face? John Delancey? He's, like, in everything as a voice actor, though, sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's LeVar Burton's, yeah.
Nichelle Nichols was in it, too.
My God. You know, why... We've gotten down, like, a weird rabbit hole thanks to...
I'm sorry.
Nichelle Nichols was, what's her face's mother, I think?
The cop's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do I remember these things? And could, like, point them as...
Tim Curry was in it.
Yeah, who the hell was Tim Curry?
Dr. Anton.
Oh, yeah, the geneticist.
Yeah.
The geneticist. I know more of this than I want to. Yep.
I just love that. It's just like, it's looking at some of this, it's like, wait, what? You're in it?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. But yes, that was a weird tangent, I know.
It's a fine tangent. It was fine. We went through it. We got through it. We're okay. There was a lot of people in that entire thing that, you know, you could probably point out and be like, oh, that person was in that? Really?
Yeah. But it's weird that there's almost every series of Star Trek actor then.
Yes. Except for, I guess, Enterprise.
Well, going up from original to Voyager.
Yes.
That's kind of amazing.
No, that's very interesting. Anyway, so
yes,
that's I think I can't remember anything else that I did tabletop wise this week, so we'll end it there. Final segment, consult the table. If you got any questions for us, you can email us at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. You can send me a message on my Discord. You can send us a message on Twitter. You can always leave it on a message when this video comes out on YouTube, which it should be later on this week because I'm actually catching up to everything on the YouTube side. Thank you very much. I know. I was so many episodes of Discussing Tabletop from behind from putting it out on YouTube. I was like 5 episodes as of this weekend. So I put out...
Bad Tantus, bad.
I know. I've got 3 that came out, and I've got 2 ready to put out for tomorrow, and then I'll put this one out a little later on this week. I think I was going to put it out on Thursday, along with Bang. So both of those will be out on Thursday. So leave it on the comments of this video, or stop by and chat. Let us know directly. Or
tweet us.
And you can message Wyrm, too, any of these things from any of his locations. He still will answer and help us out, too, you know. And he hopefully one day will come back as a more permanent member, but we'll see in the future. I don't know. He, you know, if you haven't been checking out his Discord, he's going through a lot of stuff, sort of, so. Anyway. But thank you, everyone who did join us on this unusual Monday afternoon Discussing Tabletop. Things just, we couldn't do it over the weekend, so we wanted to still do it so we didn't get behind again. We'll be back Saturday, hopefully.
For this, we'll see people Thursday.
Yep, for Madness of the Land. Well, both of us will be there for some D&D. Yep. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to see some role-playing, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Legacies of Kain, My Vampire the Masquerade 20th anniversary. I have to specify that because now they have 5th edition out, which I'm not sure if it's actually the 5th edition, because there was a 1st edition, and then they went through a bunch of names and didn't have a 5th edition or any other named editions until now. Now it's 5th. There's
okay.
First revised. I think there's another one in between, then the 20th anniversary stuff. So that does make 4. So now there's 5
million.
But anyway, we're doing V20 because I'm not going to just do Vampire in the entire series. So that's why I want to stick with one that's all the same. Anyway, thanks for joining us. I'm back tomorrow for some stuff, and Joe will be back with me on Thursday. Have a good one. We'll see you basically this Saturday for more Discussing Tabletop. Goodbye.